Rather lads, welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. We are back again. I'm massively late, but of course, like I explained yesterday, issues of my internet have been resolved by the way now. So back to normal settings, 11 a.m., 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. live. So make sure you do join me today for the 5 p.m. show, and obviously for the 9 p.m. show. We are back again. Live settings, normal settings, back again. But obviously, despite the fact that we are late, a couple of stories have been thrown onto the table. But the good news and the big news is that as we enter into the Liverpool game, both Thomas Partey and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang could actually feature in those games. I'm gonna be diving into that. I'm gonna be explaining how that's gonna happen. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, according to Charles Watts, he's back in training. Really returned in training very well. So I mean, that is a big story. That is a very huge story. What is the latest on Thomas Partey? What are we looking at? Is he gonna play against Liverpool? Where is the groin injury and what is the progress? I'm gonna be letting you know. Alexander Lacazette, the Athletic, have actually come out and said he has played well, he's training well, and his charisma in the dressing room is appreciated by Mikel Arteta. The Athletic are claiming Arsenal do want to extend his contract by at least 1 year, though the player wants a long-term contract. We'll be diving into that. Saliba, Fabrizio Romano has also come out and said the player is going to stay. Yes, Marseille want to make the deal permanent at the end of the season, but Arsenal have told William Saliba that you're part of the plans, the long-term plans for this team, and you're actually going nowhere. And could Arsenal sign Raheem Sterling? Because reports are saying that he would fancy moving to a club in the Premier League, especially Arsenal, over Barcelona. There is a story there. I'll try to talk about it. And of course, the big story about Renato Sanchez. Arsenal are about to bid for Renato Sanchez. Before we do that, is he the right player we should be bidding for? Obviously, we are sponsored by the beautiful people at H&S Gamers. They do bring you all your gaming experience, entertainment. Make sure you do check them out on Facebook. Give them a follow on Instagram, and obviously you'll find their directions there on their Facebook page. If you love to play FIFA, if you love to play which other games do I know? Midnight, I think, is another one that was really trending on Twitch. So if you love to play those games, go there. You could play career mode, there, and Arsenal career mode. But of course I would only want to play one career mode in my life, and Arsenal career mode. But please do check out H&S, and of course H&S, thank you for sponsoring us for this month. Let's get the party started. Obviously, if you love the content, smash a like on the video. If you feel like the content is useful and you would love to rewatch the same content, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. Let's get into it. Right, let's start off with Renato Sanchez, guys. Arsenal are prepared to bid for Renato Sanchez in order to beat AC Milan. I said yesterday that Arsenal were interested in Renato Sanchez. It's been flying around from the summer that we want Renato Sanchez. We want to sign Renato Sanchez. Of course, it's been a very big story around town. It's been a very big story. Renato to Arsenal. Arsenal want Renato. But now, after failing to sign him in the summer, two clubs that actually were much interested in the player, Arsenal and Barcelona, have come back for the same player in the January transfer window. Arsenal are believed to be, to be preparing a bid around 20 to 30 million, according to Luton Sport, in order to beat competition from AC Milan, who are reported that they did bid for Renato Sanchez earlier on. Now, the bid for AC Milan from AC Milan is not yet known, whether it is between 10 to 50 or 10 to 100. We do not know the bid, but at least we know that they have put in their offer and they would want to sign Renato Sanchez from Lille. Lille are more than willing to sell the player in January or even in the summer, as long as the right offer is placed on their table. Like I said, AC Milan are quite desperate. They want someone who can replace Frank Kessie if Frank Kessie leaves in January for AFCON. But also they're looking at a player who can actually succeed Frank Kessie, step in the shoes of Frank Kessie in the long run if Frank Kessie decides to leave AC Milan, and that player is none other than Renato Sanchez. At the moment, Arsenal has been linked with this one and that one in terms of midfielders: Zakaria, Kulusevski, Renato, Donny van der Beek, and a couple of others. But of course, like I said, Renato is one of those really entertaining midfielders, and short term, 24 years of age, could actually work for us. Very, very entertaining midfielder, and even in the long term, he fits into the project of what Arsenal want to do. Young players that can actually develop together, pull in the same direction, and probably take Arsenal to greater heights, go back to levels where we can win the Champions League, the Premier League, and obviously qualify regularly for the Champions League. So the big question now is Arsenal going to bid for Renato Sanchez very, very soon? Because AC Milan are a little bit ahead of us in the quest for Renato Sanchez. They have already placed in their bid, and Lille are still waiting for more bids, for more competition. Barcelona are rumored that they want him. And Xavi, I don't see them signing Renato, honestly, but the story is there. Of course, we wanted him in the summer, and we are back in there in the mix. Liverpool could be back in the mix because they also wanted him in the summer, and they will lose a couple of players in the January transfer window. In the January AFCON fiasco, including Keita, who's been a very, very key player for them. So if Liverpool go back, Arsenal go back, AC Milan, it's really going to be difficult. I think this is a deal that Arsenal should handle with utmost and maximum speed. Get in there, place the bid on the table, convince the player, and obviously bring him in the Premier League. One good thing that I love about Renato is his dribbling skills. I've spoken about that, but also the fact that he's played in the Premier League before with Swansea. So it's not a new challenge. It's not a new experience. The only difference he will have is coming to a bigger side than Swansea in the Premier League. But of course, his injury record is still a very, very big scare. But look, transfers are risks, and maybe that one is the risk we have to take to get a good player like Renato Sanchez. Talking about risks, contracts, long-term, short-term, let's go into the Athletic. They have said Arsenal and Mikel Arteta are absolutely very, very interested in keeping Alexander Lacazette. According to the Athletic piece that I've looked at, they have said that Arteta loves Alexander Lacazette. He's been impressed by his performances on the pitch, in training, and even his handling of the dressing room. However, the problem is that Alexander Lacazette wants a long-term contract. Arsenal do want to give him a short-term contract at the moment. That is the fiasco. My opinions about this, before we get into my opinion, it is proposed that Arsenal want to add Alexander Lacazette a one-year contract. He's 30 years of age at the moment, and obviously Lacazette wants 2 to 3 years. Will Arsenal compromise? Will we give another 30-year-old a long-term contract? We've done it with Ozil, it didn't work. We've done it with Aubameyang, it didn't work. I don't want another fiasco. I really do not want another mistake to be done. The likes of Willian, Ozil, Aubameyang should have been a very, very good example. I feel like that should be the end. But anyway, guys, let's get into it. My opinion about Alexander Lacazette staying at Arsenal. He's doing really, really well at the moment. If you're an Arsenal fan like I am, you really can't say let him go, because you want your club to be doing well. And of course, he's one of those senior players. Actually, he's one of the true senior players that are actually showing a lot of morale and a lot of direction to the young lads. It is Lacazette and Thomas Partey. The rest, Aubameyang is completely off track. Leno is completely off track. And of course, the likes of Cedric, Chambers, and a couple of others like Rob Holding are also completely off track. It's like they have never existed at Arsenal Football Club. So Lacazette, with all what with all that he's providing, maybe yes, maybe no. 1 year contract, that should do it for me. Not more than that. I think he's 30, 31 years, he can do it, 32, he can do it, but we can give him a 1 year contract with an option of giving him another year if he does well. That should be the structure of the contract. But thinking about it, giving him 3 years, no way. I'm not into that. I think we should have sold him in the summer when we could get some good money out of him. Now it is over. It's going to either live on a free transfer, or Arsenal will have to subdue to his demands of getting him a long-term contract, which I think is absolutely ridiculous, and it will be Arsenal not learning from their mistakes. Lacazette to stay, yes, on a 1 year contract. Promise him another year if he does well, but do not give him 3 years. He doesn't deserve him. He doesn't deserve them. He's been at Arsenal for all his time, around half a decade, and he has not proven to be worthy 3 more years. Sorry to say that if you really love the man himself, Alexander Lacazette. Let's move over, guys, to the injury update around the game, the team and the squad ahead of Liverpool. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. This is according to Charles Watts, Goal.com. Obviously, the last two sources, Athletic and Goal, move hand in hand. I love them. I always check on them to see what they have actually provided and then give to you guys because honestly, they're very credible and I love their writing style. Of course, that is really personal. But anyway, what have this? What have they said? Goal.com, Charles Watts. They've said that yes, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is back in training, has returned in training, and according to Charles Watts, actually, look, this is me contradict myself, but he said the player didn't even pick up an injury. What he said is that it could have been a fake rumor, or it could have been something that was that was really pre-planned between Arsenal and Gabon. Yes, he missed the last game. Gabon played, the most recent game Gabon played, but that was according to plan. He was never injured. He was never sidelined, and he's back in training, fully fit, fully running around, and of course with almost 52 hours, or I think less than 52 hours now, to play Liverpool. He's fit, he's okay, he's not injured, he's back in training. The captain is back. Obviously, like I said, guys, I would start him on the bench. I'm going to be diving into my predicted lineup later in the grand preview show. Make sure you do check that out. It's gonna be coming up at exactly 10 p.m. Make sure you do check it out. I said this before that against Liverpool, against Manchester United or City, I would start Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang on the bench. I feel like he's more like useless in such kind of games. I feel like you need players like Alexander Lacazette who have very, very good hold-up play, players that can actually fight for the ball, players that can be a big scare. Yes, 2-3 years ago, Aubameyang was a very big scare, and you needed him against Liverpool, against Manchester United. But at the moment, we last beat Liverpool when Mikel Arteta was still a manager, Cazorla was still at Arsenal, and the likes of Ramsey was all still at Arsenal. So you can see that we have really, really taken a long time without being Liverpool, and I don't see how Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang starting this game actually gives us more chances, because we have we have to soak up the pressure and then release the ball through decent outlets. I feel like I said, can be a good outlet. Saka, Smith Rowe, those should be the players that we use. But anyway, Aubameyang being around is again a very, very big boost. Arteta loves him. We know how much Arteta loves him. It would have been a very, very big blow, especially psychologically, to Mikel Arteta and the squad if the captain was injured for this game. So Aubameyang, can he score against Liverpool? I think he can. Liverpool do concede some goals this season. They have conceded 5 goals in the Premier League in the last 2 games, 3 against West Ham, 2 against Brighton. Yeah, you see, we can't score. We can actually get them to concede. But the question is, can we keep them out more than 3, less than 3 times, so that we do not concede, a quadruple in that game? Big question. Talking about optimism and talking about players coming back, is Thomas Partey in the last 50 hours to the game. It is being rumored, and this is a rumor, I'm gonna say it in a whisper, Partey could be back. So according still to reports coming in, Partey could be back against Liverpool. Yes, he suffered a little groin, a muscle injury, little groin. That is what Mikel Arteta reported after the Watford game. Of course, he missed the Watford game. Nobody, look, I'm gonna say this, nobody missed him, because Ainsley Maitland-Niles put in a very good performance, very mature performance, and no one missed Thomas Partey in that game. Honestly, I feel like it was it would have been a very good chance for him to rest, but the bad thing is that he had picked up an injury. It wasn't a rest, it was actually a bed rest in the sick bay. So talking about Thomas Partey, he's one of the most relevant Arsenal players in the squad at the moment. We all know he plays with Albertson Lokonga. Lokonga gives him the protection, but of course, Thomas Partey gives us that extra security, that extra layer of security on the back foot, and also that extra that extra weight on the acceleration pedal going forward. So without Thomas Partey, it's a big fiasco, it's a big problem. We will be stuck between a hard place and the corner, and the rock. My place on that, my take on this is, if we do not have Thomas Partey, we should play a midfield of 3 defensive midfielders: Albertson Lokonga, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and Mohamed El Neni. Of course, that is not me being very scared, but of course, you guys know the level at which Liverpool operate. Their midfield is flying, their wing backs are flying, Salah is flying, Mane is flying, and of course, Roberto Firmino, Jota, whoever starts there, they have all scored against us. more than once. So honestly, I'm really scared about Liverpool, and I would love Thomas Partey to be back for that game. Let's see if Partey gets back, but of course, if the duo is back, then we do stand a bigger chance to get a point at the Anfield, or probably lose 2-1, or even beat them like 1-0. Going, moving forward, guys. Let's get back to transfers. I've talked about the injury update, and of course the big stories that are leading the headlines. Let's see what let's see more transfers. William Saliba, again, another player that I really do fancy a lot. I talked about William Saliba in 2020 December last year, and of course in November December this year he is back in the news, playing at Marseille at the moment on loan from Arsenal. There have been rumors that Arsenal and Marseille will hold talks to see if the player stays there on a permanent deal. Ridiculous stories. But honestly, I do understand Marseille from their point of view. I do understand you want to keep your best player even though he's on loan. It's like what we did with Martin Odegaard. We went back to Real Madrid and told them, we want to keep Odegaard, give us the player on a permanent deal, and Madrid accepted. So Marseille also want to use the same trick on Arsenal. They're saying if we took Matteo Guendouzi, and is actually doing well at the moment, we can also take William Saliba on a permanent deal. I think Arsenal should be very, very clear about this. No questions. Yes, we have a complication between Balogun and Edin Ketia, but William Saliba, it is absolutely open and in glass. He is done for sale. Now, according to Fabrizio Romano, he's come out and said that Arsenal have already told William Saliba that he has a future. He's in plans of Mikel Arteta, and he is done for sale at the moment. So, of course, he's a very, very young player, only 20 years of age. If Arsenal decide to keep him, they can give him a long-term contract, probably give him, a salary increase, because he's been so good wherever he's been, and of course, he deserves something better. Game time is gonna be a very big question, but like I said yesterday, but one, if we want to keep William Saliba, it's going to be in the through giving him games in the Europa League, in the FA Cup. So we need to get back to Europe as soon as possible. Can we keep Saliba? Yes, I feel that we can. It's gonna be very, very different. He doesn't want to stay at Marseille. He looks at Arsenal as an upgrade, and obviously, if we can get Champions League football or Europa League football, definitely we can actually promise him that he's gonna be captain. He's gonna be a big figure in our Europa League games, in our FA Cup games, so we can actually convince him to stay. Now, guys, moving on away from William Saliba, I'm happy to hear this story. I'm really happy that Arsenal have finally come back to their senses. Very, very, very happy. Let's talk about Raheem Sterling just for a minute. With reports claiming, of course, putting many Barcelona fans in a spliff, comparing us with Barcelona. For sure, at the moment, transfer-wise, we are better than Barcelona. Not because we are a better quality side, but in terms of money, in terms of what we can offer, in terms of salaries, and in terms of organization, we are very, 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 very far away from Barcelona. They do not have the money. They have been corrupted. They have been embezzled. Everything bad in terms of financial language is corresponding with Barcelona FC. Of course, I love the club. I do have their jersey, and I love Barcelona so much. But look, they are they're in a financial spliff, and Arsenal are not at the moment. So, Raheem Sterling, rumors saying that he would prefer to stay in the Premier League. He knows the Premier League, that he would prefer to stay in the Premier League at Arsenal rather than moving out out of the Premier League to FC Barcelona. I might want to believe the stories, but honestly, I don't think that is something that is getting me excited. The player, in his own words, has said all he knows as an English player is the English Premier League. He would love one day to get a new experience, new challenge, probably go out to France, go out to Spain, go out to Italy, and get a new experience. Obviously, please, son, don't go to Italy. It's going to be boring. Don't go to Germany. It's going to be boring. You can go to Spain maybe, join a Barcelona, join a Real Madrid, or probably could go to PSG. Again, that league is so boring. Of course, Raheem Sterling joining Arsenal has been on the radar for some time, but it's a story that I really do not think is going to happen unless it happen. So in today's edition, Renato Sanchez, January transfer bid, coming in from Arsenal. Lacazette, a new contract, a new offer. Arsenal want to keep him. obviously I would keep him for 1 year and promise him another year. Raheem Sterling would prefer to join Arsenal over Barcelona. Partey could be back against Liverpool. Aubameyang is back in training. Karim Adeyemi, I've not spoken about that one. 5 p.m. show, make sure you do tune in. I'll be speaking about Karim Adeyemi and more. And obviously Saliba transfer to Marseille on a permanent deal not happening. Thanks everybody for watching in. Make sure you smash a like on the video if you feel like it is very, very important. If you feel like the information is important, make sure you do smash a like on the video. If you want to contact me, my information is on the screen. Every end of the video I'll be posting that information. You can talk to me, you can ask me anything, and I'll be very, very glad to answer. So definitely guys, I'm gonna be signing out, and at the moment I'm gonna say kwaheri, be safe, smash the like button, get your subscription in and become part of the family, because the first 50,000 subscribers, we are very close, and those ones will be the world to us.